Therefore, the neighbors and those who previously had seen that he was blind said, "Is not this he who sat and begged?" All right, so we were not introduced to him as a beggar. We were introduced to him as a blind man. But the obvious issues he was dealing with was that his life had become limited based on people's generosity. And according to Jesus was looking at a man that had a future. It was not just about healing his eyes, it was about setting him up for life. Some said, "This is he." Others said, "He is like him." He said, "I am he." Can someone say, "I am he"? Yeah. Said, "I am he. I'm the one God blessed. I am the." You're kidding me? No. It ain't that. I am he. It's me. Therefore, they said, "How were your eyes open?" He said, "A man called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes. And he said to me, 'Go to the pool of Siloam and wash.' So I went and washed and received my sight." Can someone say, "So I went, I washed, and received my sight"? Simple. You know, he is not about debate. Some of us may be saying, "Jesus, your saliva was too loaded." We don't know whether it was morning saliva or afternoon saliva. You know, whether you had eaten pizza, he didn't care. It's like, listen, I've been begging all my life. No one has taken care even to touch me. No one has told me that I can be healed. I heard the sound of healing. I heard an instruction that altered. All this while, I've been longing to see. Can you give someone the instruction that would change their life? All right, let's go to the next story. So here again, we see a miracle happen not because the guy begged for healing. He did not even ask for money like the guy at the beautiful gate. He became the subject of discussion, and God decided to step in. Oh, your issue is blowing up. God is in to shock you up. Can I inform someone? Those people who don't want to disclose sometimes information about themselves, can you beg them that that should not be an issue? Yeah. We can't, in our pride, sit on our problems. The last time I checked, when I go to the hospital, people who normally ought not to be seeing me, see me. And dependent on what they are doing to you, yeah, you know, those in the medical field always laugh at us. Yeah, with all your bigness, you know. Yeah, with all your bigness. They can tell you, they give you something that doesn't even close at the back. God bless you all. We love you, and we thank God for your lives. All right, so let's go and look at something that happened in this town called Nain. So Luke 7, verse 11. Now it happened that day after he went into a city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him in a large crowd. And when they came near to the gate of the city, behold, a dead man was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow. And a large crowd from the city was with her. When the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her and said to her, "Do not weep." Can you master a do not weep? Can you master up a do not weep? Then he came and touched the open coffin and said, who carried him? And those who carried him stood still. And he said, young man, I say to you, arise. So he who was dead sat up and began to talk. I guess this guy could really talk. He sat up, and I'm sure he's thinking, what a big party. Where are you guys taking me? He began to speak, and he was presented to his mother. Then fear came upon all, and they glorified God, saying, a great prophet has arisen among us, and God has visited his people. And this report about him went throughout all Judea and the surrounding regions. Remember, the miracles would point back to God. But the interesting thing about this is that there was no invitation. Jesus invited himself. Looking at this woman, in context, she's lost the breadwinner. And then the future in the son is also gone. And guess what? All the whole city can do is help her bury. And Jesus is looking at her with compassion. I pray that compassion will well up in you. That the stirrings of God would begin. That change would come to someone this week because of you. So when Paul would say that I'm not preaching with persuasive words of human wisdom, but in the demonstration of spirit and power, that there will be evidence of the power of God when we show up. So here again is a situation without request, but God decides to change the story. That there is life in death. I like it when he called him and the guy woke up. Would you have the boldness to see a dead situation and call it to life? Now, it doesn't only have to be a human who is dead. It could be a situation that is dead. We are going to bury it. The idea is dead. Sometimes it's not the idea that is dead, it's the system that is carrying the idea that is dead. Can we call the idea back to life?